Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be doing something quite different. I'm going to be ranking the movies I saw in November. Now, keep in mind I did not see did I? I saw a handful of movies. I think about 7 of them, but majority one of which came out in October. But I'm including it in this video because it's when I saw it. But majority of these are some of the smaller ones and the three big ones that everyone's praising about, Moana, Wicked, and Gladiator, are on this list. I did go see them, but we will have to wait and see what my opinion is on them. So let's get started with this ranking. Now, coming in last place, this does hurt my heart a little, but it's going to have to be here. Now, if you saw my review for this movie, you know I gave a good review and score on this, but more time I sit and think about it, the less and less I like this movie. It has come down a little bit, in my opinion. My favorite things in this movie is the still camera position throughout time, which I like the idea explored, and Tom Hanks and Robin Wright's story in this movie I thought was probably the best one. But the execution, some decisions, and character plots I felt weren't explored enough or weren't just written well enough for this movie. Granted, there are a few, a lot of stories that happen for in this movie, so you can't dedicate too much time to it with the runtime you had. But I think you could have added maybe another half hour to this movie and gave more time for some of these stories, and the lazy boy guy, who I felt didn't get much attention in this movie, as even though I didn't mention him in my review. Paul Bettany's character I felt was fleshed out from what I said in my review, but more and more I think about it and hear people's review on the film and talk about this character, I'm like, yeah, that's a good point, but and I can't counteract with that. But still, I think the production value in this movie is pretty good. The performances, especially the main two, I thought were pretty good, but unfortunately, here, in my opinion, it has come in last place for me. In sixth place, I'm going to put Heretic, honestly, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I thought this movie was okay. But don't get me wrong, this is still a good movie, but when I see the movies I saw this month in November were like, holy smokes, these are good movies. So something has to be in last place down at the bottom. But please don't kill me, please, because I've only seen this movie once. I only remember tidbits of it. If I watch it again, maybe I might have a different opinion on it. But at where I stand now, I think this is a good movie with great performances. Hugh Grant, in particular, is getting a lot of buzz recognition for his performance here. I do really like the girls in this, Sophie Thatcher and I forget the other one's name, Emma something. But yeah, the performances were great. All around story, I don't know much on Bible study, unfortunately, so I think that did cut back for me liking this movie a bit. But I think now that I've seen it and maybe knowing where it goes, when I watch it again, I might appreciate it more and more. But that doesn't stop from seeing great performances and a great story build from this. The story is very good, and this movie is just, I feel it's one of those where I need a second watch on this. So please, please, please don't kill me in the comments. I did enjoy this movie. The more I think about it, I kind of like it more and more, but something has to be down at the bottom. And I'm sorry, but Heretic is the one that's got to be at number 6. At number 5, we have Venom: The Last Dance. Now, I unfortunately did not get to see this in October because my family and I, we all love the Spider-Man movies, and we really like Venom as well. So we made a promise that we would all go see Venom: The Last Dance together when my dad came back from his outage at work. So it took a while, but we finally got to see it. I honestly really liked Venom: The Last Dance. I really like the Venom movies. Some people do, some people don't. I think that's something people have grown over time with throughout the past years. But I think the Venom movies are really a lot of fun. It's nothing groundbreaking or big that we're expecting, like Infinity War or Endgame. But sometimes you're up for like a buddy comedy, honestly. Like a, I really like the dynamic between Eddie and Venom a lot. And quick thing, I think I should talk about my opinion on the other Venom movies. First one, I like. It's a good introduction to the character, and I like it's a different Eddie Brock from Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3, which honestly was not good, but I like this Eddie Brock better, honestly. And then Venom: Let There Be Carnage, I really liked. I thought it was a good sequel with a great villain with Woody Harrelson. I felt his um, love interest could have been a little fleshed out more, but I really liked the second one. I like Eddie and Venom's relationship bickering, in my opinion. I thought that was very funny. And even so, Venom on his own, like it's fun seeing him in a different perspective without Eddie, honestly. And now with this one, which is probably the end of the Venom trilogy, I think it's the end of the Venom trilogy. I really liked how they ended things off. There are consequences. Nothing always goes your way with it, but that's not what the main movie was getting at. But most of what this movie plays out is there's a threat coming for Venom, and he can't protect Eddie as much as he did before. Because if he does, that sparks their location to where they are. And even with Eddie on the run from the military, even proves a bigger threat where Venom can't protect Eddie as much to protect both of them at the same time. And seeing how that goes, I thought it was a great story to talk about how sometimes you can't save everybody, in which I'm guessing you've seen the movie already. It's been a month out, in which the ending does really keep things like bookends and really brings it to a power ending note for the movies, in which I did get teary eye. I really did cry for the ending in this, and it wasn't as much when spoiler alert, Venom Sacrifice kicked in. It's when they played the Maroon 5 song that I think that really was a good song choice for this ending, as it really does show how much of a bond they had throughout these years and how different it is for Eddie to be on his own without having Venom in his head. So I really like this movie. I don't know many people who agree with me on it, but I get what people say didn't work in this movie, but I really had a good time with this. I'm really excited to watch it again. And then, yeah, that's the only October movie I was talking about in the beginning that was included in this. So, yeah, coming in as a surprise at number 4, Moana 2, actually. Now, I have a lot of nostalgia for seeing the first Moana in theaters. When I was 10, it was around the perfect age, in my opinion, and I loved the first Moana. I haven't watched it as much as recently, but I think it's a great movie with great songs and a great story. And even with it being the most streamed thing on Disney Plus ever, or one of the most streamed films ever in history, it's been a very big cultural impact. And the second movie having shattered so many records this past weekend at the box office, being, well, if I go on and on about these records, we'll be here all day, but I really like this movie. I know people are saying it's not good. People are ripping on this really hard, but I thought this was a very good movie. I can see where people are coming from, and that well, originally it was supposed to be a TV show, in which that you keep in mind because it does keep coming back around when you think on some aspects of it, like at certain points where it should go to commercial or jump to the end for and go to the next episode. That I can see, but I thought the animation was very good. The songs unfortunately aren't written by Lin-Manuel Miranda again, but I thought a few of them were good. Like I can count the ones I liked on one hand. Like Beyond, I really liked. Get Lost, which is the most popular and most famous right now for this soundtrack. More think about it, I like Maui's song a bit more than I said in my review. And then the Ali Carvalho's cover of We Know the Way at the end, which that got me a little emotional because that's one of my favorite songs from the first movie, and hearing that again really brought me back to my childhood when I saw the first Moana in theaters. But yeah, I really like this movie. I would really watch it again, and I can't wait to show my family this movie because I feel like they would really enjoy it. And overall, Moana 2 is staying in fourth place for me. All right, now we're on to the big ones, with number 3 being Gladiator 2. Now, for me, I only first watched the first Gladiator a couple days before I saw this one. And the first Gladiator I really liked, honestly. I think probably watching it again in the future, I could like it even more. But aside from that, only a first time watch, I thought it was really good. And now with the second one out, this is one of my most anticipated films of the year, actually. I thought the trailer looked really good. I was very excited to see like a big, bombastic action movie with cool fighting and sword fighting and animals in the ring. Like, it was going to be awesome, and it did not disappoint. This was a great sequel to Gladiator, in my opinion, which it builds the world, brings in characters we already know, and gives us some great performances. Denzel Washington, in particular, being the most praised out of all the performances in this movie. Pedro Pascal is great, and the Emperor's Joseph Quinn and the other one are very good. Paul Mescal gives a great final big debut for his career. I mean, he's in Normal People, After Sun, a couple of the smaller movies, but this is a big jump for his career. And I guarantee he's going to get more roles from it because he brought so much charisma and character to his performance of his portrayal as Hanu. And it really does bring you back to this world of Gladiator that you've known for over 20 years, honestly. So, and even I took my friend to go see it, and he loved this movie, saying it's his favorite that he's seen all year. And even though he hasn't seen much of this year, only a handful, this was his favorite from what he said. He's a big history nerd. He loves history, and this really took him to a great place for him to love history even more and the historical accuracies. So yeah, Gladiator 2 is made it into the top 3. Now, before we move into the top 2, keep in mind this is my preference, honestly. It's been really tough to pick my favorite movie for this month, because on the one hand, you have one of the biggest films ever in history come out and shatter records. On the other hand, it's a small indie flick getting crazy praise for everything. So it was difficult for me to choose which one I enjoyed more, but don't hate me for this. It's really close for what number 1 is, but number 2 is Wicked, unfortunately. Now, don't kill me, please, please. It is very, very close for being the best movie in this month. But there was one movie just a little bit better, in my opinion. But keep in mind, these are very close in a race. I could almost say they're tied for number one, but my number one pick itches it out a little bit. So back to Wicked. Now I have no knowledge of the Broadway show. I've never even seen Wizard of Oz. Surprisingly, I've seen a couple of the spin-off movies like Oz the Great and Powerful, Sam Raimi's movie with James Franco. Return to Oz I've seen once, and even a couple of like the cartoon ones I've seen. But bottom line, I don't know much of this, but each trailer I saw for Wicked, I was like, this looks good. I would go see this. And I kept being on the fence about it each time as it was getting closer to its release. Even my brother kept saying, it sucks. That movie's gonna suck. Watch, it's gonna crash and burn. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna give it a chance. Either wait for video or streaming, or just go see it in the theater randomly. So I saw it was on like an really early showing in the week it was coming out. So I went to the IMAX Monday night showing, early screening for it at my theater, and packed theater. People loved, like, people have a deep love for this source material. They love the play, they love the book. People in my theater were wearing shirts saying Wicked, little kids dressed in outfits, and I really love this movie. I loved this movie so much. I'm so glad I went to see it. The audience was well behaved. I know people are saying stay away from seeing this in theaters because people are singing and are not giving as much respect to the other audience who are wanting to see it. But my audience was very respectful. No one was singing loudly or that I heard, but everyone was well behaved. No one really made anything like obnoxious or anything. It was just a great audience. I adored this movie. I really loved the performances. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are the standouts. And I really hope they get a lot of recognition for the award season coming up because they deserve it. And then the set is just immaculate for this movie. I'm not gonna I'm gonna give credit to, as Sean Chandler said, it's like there hasn't been a movie like this since Harry Potter where you've been so sucked into the world and feel like you're part of it, and then it really captivates you with this world in the Land of Oz and at Shiz University, and they really bring you here, make you feel like you're part of this journey, and so much of it is built on that. The songs are amazing. I loved the songs in this movie, and the performances were all around great. My the tiniest gripe I have is it's a part one, and I really want to watch part two so badly right now because how much I loved this movie really brings it down a smidge because I want to see what happens next. And like I said, I don't know much of the show and I don't have knowledge of the book, but overall, I adored this movie. I loved it so much and cannot wait to watch it again on disc or even go see it in the theaters again. Now for my number one pick, I am saying Anora. I adored Anora so much. It's my favorite movie of this year. The more I think about it, these are fantastic performances. Mikey Madison is immaculate in this movie. Like this movie holds on her shoulders as she is holding on to this character and bringing so much power to this film alongside these practically nobodies who are actors. But are really going to have a big career ahead of them because their performances are amazing in this movie. Right off the bat, giving this movie so much praise, I was confused. Like, all right, maybe go see it, see what the praise is about. For the first third, I was like, okay, so when is it gonna kick in? Until you get to that 30-45 minute mark, it turns on. Like, it becomes an incredible movie. So much of it is brought together by these characters and performances. And even more so, the story is compelling. Like, even though the second hour of this movie is just trying to find the husband, it's in it's just entertaining seeing Mikey Madison and these people go look for him, and so much of it is just the comedic timing. This is a very funny movie. Like, once they get to the house, it is just so funny. So many moments I found myself laughing really hard at, and the ending has stuck with me so much, even weeks later after seeing this movie. If you want to know my full thoughts on this movie, you can watch my review on it, but this ending has probably become one of my favorite endings in film history, as it's only relying on the visual and there's no dialogue for a good 5 minutes, and the ending, you only get story from what you see, and the way it ends, it cuts to black to the credits and holds on that silent note for the entire credits. There's no songs or instrumental score at all. It just holds quiet and lets you impact or think on your own conclusion of what it could be. And so much of that is the power of Sean Baker, who brought this movie to life and gave Mikey Madison probably her best performance of her entire career. Like, I'd be shocked if she does not win Best Actress this year, because she is my favorite performance of a female actress in this entire year, and she deserves this award. If I had it, I would give it right to her and would not even think twice about all the other nominations, because that's how good her performance was, in my opinion. The side characters are amazing. Yura Borisov, if I'm saying his name right, as Igor, is one of the best side characters I've ever seen in a movie. His development throughout this movie as just a bystander trying to help and make money for his family just gives you that impression that he's only trying to help his family and is caught in this journey, but he connects with Anora, and like in the ending, I'd have to go into spoilers, but I could talk about this film all day. I love it so much. His character is probably the best besides Anora, played by Mikey Madison, and just how much this film has impacted me and given me more appreciation every time I look at it really proves that this is an amazing film, probably one of my favorites of this entire decade, honestly. I think it'd probably be my top five, honestly. But this movie is incredible. I promise you. I have it pre-ordered on digital already. I cannot wait to rewatch it and explore more of the details I missed. So without a doubt, Anora is my favorite film of this year, unless something in December comes out that changes my mind. But it is not only my favorite film of November that I saw, but my favorite film of this year. Like I said, something's got to come out in December to change my mind, but without a doubt, Anora is in number one for me. So I really hope you all enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making this, but please don't kill me with my ranking. There were really good movies, and I only saw really good movies this year. this month. So bear with me with my choice, please. We can discuss all we want in the comments about what we liked or didn't like. But other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Take care.